say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this. Also, I want to talk specifically to the rioters and to the politicians in Los Angeles.
Half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have been targeted, and how their families have been put in jeopardy, and that we're not going to allow that anymore as well. That those individuals who are purposely endangering our ICE agents and our law enforcement officers and their families will be prosecuted for what they are doing as far as perpetuating violence on them.
To the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil, chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
Welcome to the MC Too Tall Show. I, of course, am your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too Tall. More people come to me as a source of news and current events than anybody else from Gravesend, Brooklyn. I am the resident of Gravesend, Brooklyn that is more of a known source of information than anyone else from Gravesend, Brooklyn. It just is. Some people are better than me at other things in my neighborhood, and it's well appreciated. Their contributions mean a lot. But as far as having the most popular YouTube channel, because of the content I put out of the people of Gravesend, Brooklyn, I'm at the top of the mountain. And that doesn't happen without your support. That doesn't happen without your subscriptions. And I greatly thank you, my viewing audience, for doing that for me. And part of what makes me a reliable source and the go-to person in all of Gravesend for this type of information is sometimes I'm faced with the tough decision of prioritizing. Now, the two clips you saw at the beginning of the video, although very important headline news, both of them, still, neither of the two are as important as what I'm about to tell you. A former appointee of Minnesota Governor and former Vice Presidential hopeful Tim Walz gunned down and killed a state representative and her spouse. Then went on to shoot with intent to kill a state senator and his spouse. Tim Walz appointed this man, Vance Bolter, they're saying his name is. Tim Walz appoints him for some weird, stupid, unimportant committee of some stupid office, of some stupid division, of some stupid agency that is completely unnecessary, and nowhere in the world should such an agency exist. But there's Tim Walz appointing him to this shit, making this guy feel important enough to kill. And by not towing the line, two Democrat lawmakers and their respective spouses had to suffer at the end of a gun. And the man pulling that trigger definitely, actually, and factually is this Vance Bolter guy, an appointee of Tim Walz. It is important during this broadcast to point out that the Satanic Church in Minnesota awarded Tim Walz with his very own statue / trophy thing. And he greatly accepted it, and it sits in the lobby of one of the government buildings in Minnesota. That is despicable, that is disgraceful, that is disgusting. If you are approved by Satan, how can you be approved by God? And if you are not approved by God, what are you doing running the government? How dare you be ungodly and hold up public office in these United States that can make decisions that could affect me in Brooklyn, New York. And you obviously chose a bad actor to represent you, because said bad actor, John Bolter, went to Melissa Hortman's house, shot and killed her husband, because she, though a Democrat, chose not to vote with the other Democrats, chose not to play in those reindeer games, giving free health care to illegal aliens, because free health care might be free for them, but not free for me, the American taxpayer. So she did the right thing. Her last act alive was the right thing to do. And I believe for that and that alone, God is rewarding her for that, and her husband, with a place in holy heaven above, for choosing not to go along to get along with the Democrats and sacrificing her life for that at the hand of a vicious, brutal, violent Tim Walz appointee. Then, after this Tim Walz appointee shoots and kills these two people, he goes on, posing as a police officer, by the way, to shoot with intent to kill a state senator, John Hoffman, and his wife. He shoots the two of them with intent, full intent to kill them, They managed to survive. Both of them managed to survive the gunshot wounds. They are in stable condition in the hospital. And let me assure you, there is a manhunt now for this guy. This guy had an anti-American manifesto on there, not pro-Republican in any way, with a bipartisan list of targets. And how about biting the hand that feeds you? One of the names of those targets is that of Tim Walz, the man who appointed him. So somewhere out there, there's a manhunt for somebody who wants the head of Tim Walz, who appointed him. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you. And here's another thing. This person had to have been a friend of Tim Walz at some point. May have had a falling out, which is why Tim Walz's name is on this list of targeted people that he wants to shoot. And the scary part is he's still out there as we speak on the loose. But again, at some point, these two had to be friends at some point. Nope. Yeah, no. So Tim Walz always claims he misspoke whenever the school shooters comment comes up, or the friends with school shooters comment comes up. And he always says, well, I misspoke. Okay, yeah, you misspoke. But the word shooters still goes in that sentence. Maybe we replace the word school with political. You're friends with political shooters, perhaps? Perhaps it's your rhetoric referring to Donald Trump, Tom Homan, and ICE agents as the Gestapo that makes people like your appointee that's somewhere out there on the loose fantasizing about killing you now want to go out and kill anybody that's not with the evil, yes, evil, Democratic Party agenda. Crime runs rampant because of the Democrats. Evil poisons the veins of America because of the Democrats. And we're in a world of trouble if we ever see another situation where Democrats have both houses and the executive branch of the United States. That will be the downfall of America. And we must never see that happen again. Republicans deserve a voice. Republicans deserve a platform. But also, let's be careful. They have to be the right Republicans. They can't just be people who say they're MAGA. They got to be people who practice what they preach. MAGA is not anti-Second Amendment. MAGA is pro-Second Amendment. MAGA is not pro-high spending. MAGA is for less spending. MAGA is looking out for the best interests of the hardworking people of America, particularly the blue-collar workers, but not exclusively the blue-collar workers. That is MAGA. And to be anti-MAGA in this day and age is to be anti-American, because you don't acknowledge that America currently is not great, or you do and don't want America to be great. So this person who lethally punished a legislator and her husband for not voting the way he wanted her to vote, that shows that he is anti-American scum. And you don't want to be anti-American scum. And let me assure you, there are Republicans that are also anti-American scum. That's what Mitt Romney is. That's what anybody who was originally opposed to Barack Obama but changed their tune and then became pro-Barack Obama but still kept the R next to their name. Yes, those are Republicans by name, but they are also anti-American scum. They are the spineless Republicans, also known as rhinos. What I believe is that they are Democrats, dare I say even socialists and communists, cosplaying as Republicans. And they will show up to an evangelical church the same as any real human being and pose as a human being, right down to claiming that they're Republican, which of course is the party of morality, but you can't let these people infiltrate the party of morality by claiming they're Republicans, which is the party of morality, and then supporting and going with the side of immorality. And because the left has so many different factions, so many different radical factions that contradict one another, the party's imploding, the party's eating its own tail. There's even members of the party cosplaying as a copper, cocking back and blamming at their own. You got people that support terrorists because Hamas are terrorists, so they're pro-Hamas. You got people that support all those other letters beyond the B in LGB, which means Lord only knows what debauchery goes on in the rest of that alphabet. And so, yeah, you take it past that certain letter, we know what you're doing. You're jacking a gallant effort, tainting it, and then taking it in a direction that its originators never wanted it to go in. So, the child mutilator community, the terrorist community, the pro-cartel and human trafficking community that you see rioting in LA. So you have all these different things. The neolibs, who have a strong alliance with the neocons that want war, people like Josh Shapiro, who very bipartisanly, just like Nikki Haley did, signed bombs to commit unprovoked attacks. These aren't bombs for retaliation for October 7th. And I believe October 7th should be retaliated. These are for unprovoked attacks. These are for taking it too far. And so the party's imploding because there's different factions coming from different directions, and they're eating their own tail and literally, as you could see, are killing each other. Killing each other. So many levels of hell. Where belong the left? And that's why you have to do like me. Take your advice and your guidance from good God in holy heaven above. Good God Almighty in holy heaven above, which man did not create. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Follow and share my content. Tell all your friends about me. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Stay strong and keep kicking that sling. It's your boy in the building. Hip-hop legend. Recording engineer. Your hardcore, fierce, and sexy underground rock and roll hero. MC Too Tall. Until next time, my friends.